Welcome back. Imagine this: the President of the United States crashes his own freight rail system and then sends a $795 billion bill to Canada to fix it. That's right, $795 billion, roughly 36% of Canada's entire GDP. He started the fight, Canada defended itself, the railways got destroyed, and now he's holding the neighbor responsible. The audacity is staggering. And what Canada did next, absolutely devastating. 5 officials, 90 minutes, a 47-page analysis sent to every major news outlet, every embassy, every global economic institution. And then Mark Carney delivered the line that will echo through history. You cannot start a fire and then hand the fire department an invoice. The $795 billion demand is divided into 5 categories, each more outrageous than the last. The $280 billion to rebuild freight infrastructure, expand domestic routes, and build alternatives that bypass Canada entirely, essentially asking Canada to pay to replace itself. A $195 billion labeled as trade war rail damage, claiming Canadian retaliation deliberately sabotaged U.S. rail. A $140 billion to repair agricultural exports stranded when Canadian routes were deprioritized. $105 billion for energy transport infrastructure, building new pipelines and rail terminals to replace routes throttled during the trade war. And $75 billion for a strategic rail resilience fund designed to reduce future American dependence on Canadian rail networks. Every dollar flows from Canada to the United States, with no acknowledgement that the problem began with Trump's tariffs. This is not infrastructure policy, it's blame shifting dressed up as policy. Trump's tariffs hit first, 25% on Canadian steel, 10% on aluminum, invoking national security. Canada responded legally and proportionally with counter tariffs across American exports, including agriculture, auto parts, and industrial goods. Nothing surprising, nothing disproportionate. Exactly what any sovereign nation would do. But then the effects rippled through the freight network. Canada increased border inspections, slowing shipments that used to clear in hours to days. Canadian railroads prioritized non-U.S. freight, leaving American grain, auto parts, and energy stranded while shipments from Asia and Europe moved first. The U.S. freight system collapsed. Throughput dropped 60%. Agricultural exports stranded at rail yards. Auto plants slowed or shut down temporarily. Energy shipments were delayed, sending propane prices in rural communities skyrocketing during the dead of winter. The damage compounded as rail companies faced declining revenue, deferred maintenance, and delayed capital investment. Bridges that needed repair were patched. Tracks that should have been replaced remained in service. Signal systems went without upgrades. Farmers absorbed billions in losses from missed contracts. Manufacturing supply chains fractured. The cumulative economic damage over 18 months was estimated at $300 billion, all a direct result of a trade war Trump started. And instead of asking Congress for funding, which would have meant admitting the tariffs caused the problem, he sent the bill to Canada. Canada's response was surgical. Every link traced back to Trump's original tariffs. Facts, dates, data, 5 voices over 90 minutes, 47 pages. Carney opened with precision. The United States imposed tariffs. Canada responded. The consequences are the result of the tariffs that provoked it. You cannot start a fire and then hand the fire department an invoice. The finance minister put the $795 billion figure into context. It represented 36% of Canada's GDP. For comparison, Germany's post-World War I reparations were 33% of GDP and helped trigger global economic collapse. The room went silent. The transport minister presented data sourced from U.S. Department of Transportation reports, proving the American freight system was already fragile from decades of deferred maintenance, underinvestment, and stock buybacks. Canada didn't create the fragility, they exposed it. The ambassador to the United States stated plainly that no treaty, no trade agreement, no principle of international law obligates Canada to pay. None. Ever. The Bank of Canada's economist explained that even assuming Canada had some responsibility, the real damage was roughly $55 to $70 billion, not $795 billion. The number Trump demanded was inflated 11 to 14 times beyond any defensible estimate. Carney's closing line cemented the message. Canada does not accept the premise that a nation defending itself against economic aggression owes compensation to the aggressor. We did not start this trade war. We will not apologize, and we will certainly not write a check for $795 billion to the country that made this necessary. A Warren Buffett, who owns BNSF Railway, one of the railroads hit, confirmed the causal chain himself. He saw the impact in his own financial statements. The real damage, about 1/17 of what Trump demanded. He called the $795 billion demand delusion, and said something that shocked his board. I feel embarrassed for the country. The Dow dropped 400 points on the demand and recovered 250 after Ottawa's press conference. The market itself agreed Canada's position was rational, Trump's demand was absurd. But the crisis remains real. Grain stranded in Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota. Manufacturing disrupted, energy shipments delayed, propane prices soaring, infrastructure aging faster each month. And the simplest, fastest, most effective solution: reverse the tariffs. Normalize trade, Let freight flow again. One signature on an executive order. $0 spent. Problem solved. But admitting the tariffs were wrong is politically impossible. The fire keeps burning and the neighbor's fence, still standing unpaid, the world watched. An American president demanded $795 billion for damage he caused. Canada responded with precision, facts, and institutional coordination. Allies took note. Markets reacted. Warren Buffett confirmed it. And the truth remains: the strong man cannot admit he was wrong, but the numbers, the timeline, and the facts don't lie.